Hello, Forks fans. It's Rob here with the Endless Legend Inferno expansion pack. I'm really excited to show you guys this stuff. I've been playing it as a VIP and beta tester here for, I don't know, about 20 hours. And I wanted to show you about it. And immediately you're going to notice that there is something going on here, isn't there? Well, we're currently in an eclipse, which is one of the main features of the Inferno expansion pack, along with a few other things that I'm going to show you. So yeah, the Eclipse graphics are super cool. It's got like an Aurora Borealis look to it. Love it. It darkens everything, and it creates so many things, so many issues, so many new uh, aspects to the game that we're going to go over here in a second. So first off, let's talk about the expansion race, and they are the Kapaku. So they are basically like weird little volcano critters that are born of ash. And so I'll show you some of these mouse over hints, these tooltips. They can only gather food on volcanic terrain. They get health regeneration on volcanic terrain, and they gain bonus stats on volcanic terrain. So they're really, really interested in being on volcanic terrain. They also have the main quest, which you will learn more about as you progress. I don't want to give any of that away. They're So basically, this is something I want to talk about real quick before we get into this. But during the eclipse, every faction now has like an enlightenment, like a power. And so the Kapaku, they are basically capable of seeing these new confluxes, which are power ups, really, that are applied to armies and stuff while you're in the eclipse, but dissipate after the eclipse. So they're able to see these confluxes in their own and neighboring explored regions, even outside of the fog of war. So that's their like special ability. So they're capable of seeing those confluxes and getting to them fast, because getting to them is a race. You know, once you start to see these confluxes, a lot of the factions are going to want to try to get to them. So the Kapaku are capable of seeing those and getting to them faster. Um, Then we have Endless Fascination, which means they actually get bonuses from searching ruins, science bonuses from searching ruins, and they gain 2 science on terrain with ruins. So that's pretty cool. That's how a lot of their science is generated. They also know, just like the Alai, when the winters are coming, they know how long it'll take for the eclipses to come. So they're pretty cool with that. Volcano Formation. This is one of their special like active abilities where um, you have to. This is Volcano Formation stuff here. We can talk about here in a second. But basically, Volcano Formation allows you to create volcano terrain. So we'll talk about that, and I'll show you. Golem Camp, which is really unique to the Kapaku. You can create a remote Golem Camp that exploits surrounding tiles anywhere within the region that you are. So if you have a city that's on one end of the region and you see like this really cool um, tile formation where there's a bunch of bonus tiles that are on the opposite end of the region, you can use these golem camps to basically like place like almost like a second city right around them, and they gather all those resources. It's really cool, and it's you can only do it once in one region. So, but it helps out a lot. Siege engineering, it provides an additional industry stockpile when you siege. So if you're sitting there sieging for a while, you'll gain industry stockpiles, which is cool. And then yeah, all the units, we can go over those. The Geomancer, which is a support unit, it throws fire, and it's pretty weak, to be honest. But the other ones will make up for it. So the Golem Rider is pretty powerful. In fact, it starts off very powerful, and it's very fast, and it's a very good cavalry unit. The Stone Sentinel is incredibly defensive. It's super difficult, especially towards the end when you have upgraded armor and stuff. It's super difficult to kill. So something really cool about that, and it's unique because I think there's not many defensive units in Endless Legend. They come with the Alchemist Furnace unlocked and Topography unlocked as well. As you can see, there's a little bit of overlap here. Gotta fix that. This is the like ready to go build. So unfortunately, if you do see some bugs, they'll have to be fixed after release. So yeah, there we go. All right, so let's talk about Volcano Formation here for a second. So they are unique in that they can create volcano tiles. As you can see, there's a bunch of volcano tiles over here. It's a little bit difficult to see when you're doing the eclipse. You can see how there's some grasslands here, but the volcano terrain is definitely where the Kapaku are most at home. In fact, their real mission in life is to just make Auriga an entire volcano terrain, like just one big volcano. So that is what they do, and that's the main focus of a lot of their quests too. In order to do that, you have to use strategic resources to create the volcano formers. I've got one right now. If I click on this, it'll take a certain amount of resources, which in this case was 4, to make another volcano former. So the next time I do it, it will take 5. Or it'll take a lot more. Maybe I totally didn't do the math right. but anyways, the more you use it, the more strategic resources it costs to create volcano formers. And when you have an army, let's say this one here, you can then take this volcano form and basically place it anywhere that you're allowed to, whether or not it's in it has to be within territory that you have access to. So you couldn't go into closed borders, you know, with the wild walkers or something and drop it. But if they've left their borders open because they aren't smart, you can go in there and volcano form their own terrain, which kind of messes them up because a lot of the other factions don't get any benefits from volcano formation or volcano terrain. So that works out for you, especially if you're trying to be kind of subtle and shisty. It does create an ally or an AI response saying basically do that again, we'll go to war. But it's very cool to kind of like backhandedly ruin a player's economy by dropping volcano formations into their like surrounding city tiles. So, but the main point of it really is to create volcano terrain inside your own terrain, inside your own regions. So here's a little spot here that hasn't been done yet. I'll have him go here. And you'll see he drops a little... Well, that was a conflux too. The thing that he just picked up right before he did that was a conflux. And that is actually, if you can see, to the left of the pop-up, it says that it's increased my movement by 6. It's increased my initiative by 50%, which is amazing. So confluxes don't stack if they're the same type, but you can stack confluxes of different types, and there are a bunch. So here's a few right here. As you can see, I have access to that. I can see them because I am the Kapaku. I can see where they are in my regions and in the regions surrounding them, so I can quickly nab them up. Let's go over here. But it works out really well because these guys can quickly, especially during the eclipse. So this eclipse is only going to last 2 more turns, as you can see down here. And it will allow me to quickly gather these bonuses that make my armies incredibly powerful. So it's a really fun time to wage war and you know, go on the offensive against enemies that you have, because you can pick up these confluxes, especially as a Kapaku, where you know exactly where they are, and just create these giant bonuses to your armies and then attack. So it's really cool. And the Kapaku are very powerful in that way. They're very capable of taking out enemies. I don't know if you can tell. I'll go over here and show you because you can see the pop-up. The Madu, the red one there, they were defeated by me just recently. They actually had these guys over here, these regions, and I took them. And I'm telling you, once the full force of the Kapaku army came at them, they were no chance. And I'm playing on hard right now, which is generally what I play, because anything above that I get frustrated, and anything below that is just a bit too easy. So, yeah, I was able to kind of murder them with the Kapaku because just they're powerful units when they get all those complexes and stuff. Let's take a look at the skill tree. As you can tell, I'm pretty far into this game. I believe, let's go back to my turn. I'm at turn 133, so I played this game quite a bit. I wanted to play ahead so that you can kind of see some of the stuff that's going on, so you don't have to watch the whole like let's start a civilization all over again, spiel. I wanted you to kind of get into the nitty gritty of what these guys can be and who they are. Their skill tree is really cool. So first off, they add some attack here on this side, but over here on their actual faction tree, they get some serious bonuses to volcanic terrain. And you get approval bonuses up here. You get the retrofit reductions. You can get science bonuses. So a Kapaku governor would be very good. They're very good in volcanic terrain. Now, they're not so great outside of volcanic terrain, so these would be heroes you'd want to pick up if you had like a volcanic region if you weren't playing as the Kapaku. Otherwise, I've gotten this one skilled up pretty well in the warrior. Or sorry, this is actually I forgot I should have mentioned this is I think one of the very few mounted cavalry heroes. So he gets a bunch of cool things, and I'm going to add damage to him, I believe. So yeah, and then so another thing that happens during eclipses is that ruins actually become researchable. So this is a ruin that I've already searched, already gotten all the goodies from, but during an eclipse they kind of do this like cool little endless thing. You can see the graphic here, and it becomes like this cool little statue. Clearly some dust manipulation going on, some weird stuff happening with the eclipse, and it kind of reanimates these things, and you're allowed to go and revisit them. So we'll take these guys and revisit them. Revisit this one because we only have 2 turns left of this one. So yeah, that's the general gist of it. So you can see the volcanic terrain. There's nice little lava rivers here. Yeah, and clearly the most obvious thing being the eclipse and the aurora borealis representation of it. Here's some Kapaku. This is a Capaco Watchtower. And we can look at the architecture here, too, of the Kapaku cities. They feel very endless legend, even though these guys were actually developed and brainstormed by NGD, who are the guys behind the new Mu, Master of Orion 2016, or Master of Orion Conquered the Stars. They were subcontracted for this expansion, and it still feels very much like an Amplitude expansion. So, I mean, my hat's off to them for how well they've done this. Let's go ahead and hit a turn button here. As you can tell, even on hard difficulty, I am crushing my competition because I think the Kapaku, honestly, if I'm going to be 100% honest, are a little OP right now. Their bonuses are just through the roof. Now, I know for a while there, they could actually retrofit outside of their own region. They carried, like, I don't know, I think it was like portable blacksmiths or something like that. I don't know if that's still true, because I know that there was some concern about whether or not that made them way more overpowered than they should be. So here we go. The strange dust activity in the temple subsides as you explore the ruins, but the last faint glimmer leads your troops to some long-lost treasure. So again, I was able to research this ruin set, as with the Eclipse, that's what's provided to me. And you get some really good stuff going back. You know, there's a lot of dust to be found, a lot of good strategic and luxury resources to be found. And it really is an incentive to explore again, which I love. See, this is something that I've always had an issue with 4X games. I believe that there's a point in which when the exploration phase starts to fade, that the game itself starts to slow down and becomes less exciting. When you re-engage the player with the need to explore and need to search, it really creates a motivation again to play. And this was a fantastic idea. I really think that introducing this Eclipse mechanic and introducing like this new need and desire to get out and move and pick up these confluxes and find the ruins to search, it's really good for this game. I really wish that it had come a little sooner, but it better late than never, right? I just I just think it's a brilliant idea. So, and my hats off to NJD or NGD, and my hats are off to Amplitude too for allowing someone else to take the reins and kind of think of something outside the box that they may not have thought of. So now that I've got a second complex, you can see how the mouse over information's provided a different boost effect. Now I have plus 50% attack on that same stack, and it ignores movement penalties due to terrain. So not only do I have 14 movement points, but it now ignores the movement reduction on some of this terrain. So this right now, this army could be just super maneuverable, super capable of being very mobile, and that's because they've found the complexes that they have. Let's take a look to see if there's anything I'm missing. I know there's a lot going on in this expansion. Clearly, you're going to want to see some of these heroes. Here's another hero. I believe the hero that you start with, let's take a look at that one, is this one. And he's the one that was kind of high on the skill tree. Yeah. He's the one I've been dealing with a lot. Now, I don't think they have anything. Inner Fire is a big one. They take no damage from lava flows. You will, if you have a normal faction on a lava flow, on a lava river, you will take damage. They also gain damage on Volcanic Tiles, which is just really good. So the majority of your time is going to be focused on getting volcanic terrain everywhere, and then making sure that if you have battles, you're doing it on your volcanic terrain, because you just have such a bonus on it. As you can see, I've really tried to spread the volcanic terrain as far as I can. There's volcanic terrain all through here, and I've used those volcanic formers to do that. Generally what happens is once you place a volcanic terraformer or volcano former, it will spread to not only the one you've placed it on, but to the surrounding tiles as well. It didn't surround here because it's already volcanic there. And that's what I did immediately with these cities once I took them. I went ahead and put some volcano formers there just to create that terrain so that my food actually gets produced there, because they only produce food. Oh, wow. I don't want that. They only produce food on the volcano terrain, so it's very important to make sure that they have a lot of volcanic terrain to farm, I guess. All right, let's zoom out a little bit. You can kind of get a feel for how dark it looks when it's eclipsed, and then you can come in and see I love this Aurora Borealis look. I really do. I know I've said it probably a few times already, but I just love it a lot. Let's keep going. Now, again, every other faction has a bonus during the eclipses. So this isn't an expansion that only affects the Kapaku. Of course, the Kapaku are the focus of this thing, and as Amplitude and now NGD have done, they've always created their expansions to have like a faction that focuses on the new mechanics, but that doesn't mean that the new mechanics don't apply to the other factions. It just means that the new faction is particularly suited to it. And this one is no different. So, like the last one with the Morgar, they created these new bastions and manufactorums and citadels, whatever they're calling them. And, that was the main focus of the Morgars. But now with these guys, yeah, of course, the focus is highlighting and really taking advantage of the eclipses, but all of them can do something. I can't remember what everybody is capable of doing. I know that the Wild Walkers, at least I'm pretty sure the Wild Walkers can see other armies during the eclipse, and they also get bonuses to movement. The Alai are like stupid powerful during the eclipses. They get like super angry because they think that it's like the death of Auriga, and so they're much more capable of fighting, I think. And there's just a lot of things that change during the eclipse for every faction. The Morgar can actually move much further in the water during eclipses, so their movement points jump, I think, at least 50%, and it just makes them much more mobile in the water during those eclipses. So very cool stuff. Your spy. Oh no. So they saw me. They found my my spy there, but she's managed to survive, which is good. But so these are the volcanic terrain tiles now here that you can see them in the regular summer here. And surprisingly, so there's actually a bug right now, and I guess it's still there, where occasionally some of these volcanic terrain tiles will revert back to what they were, even though they're still technically volcanic terrain. You can see in the lower left that they're still volcanic terrain, but they revert to the old way they looked. It was a bug that seems to be mostly fixed, because before it was all the tiles that you used to Volcano Form would do that, but now it looks like just a few. So that needs to be worked out, but it's not a big deal. It still kind of clearly looks more volcano than anything. Alright, so let's also take a look at some of the... I want to take a look at the units. We can take a look at these before we wrap things up. Again, this is just an opportunity to kind of show you what's going on, what's new in this thing. Worm Farm is new. It needs to be built on exploited volcanic terrain, but it gains 15 food. I mean, there's a lot of things like that. You can take a look at the research tree, and there's quite a few new research techs that are very much affiliated with the Kapaku, and also the volcanic terrain and that new mechanic there. So let's pull up. Well, you know what we can do? We'll try to build one of each, and we had stone sentinels. We'll do a geomancer. We'll actually upgrade our geomancer, because unfortunately I don't really use them very much. I'm not a very good, I don't know what it is about the support units. I'm just not very good at using them. I'm very much like a beat the ever-living crap out of things kind of player, and I know the support units are very good. I just don't use them very often. So let's give him this. We'll give him some decent armor here. How much palladium do I have? Oh, I don't have very much palladium at all, so we'll use this instead. And we'll rock out this, and then we'll give him a good palladium. Well, maybe we can use this. That looks cool as crap. It's kind of like the blade from that Supergiant game, Bastion, or something like that. One of those games. Looks like that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He looks cool now. And that's actually a scepter? That's cool as hell. Alright. We'll also look at the other ones. Stone Sentinel. Very, very capable of defending himself. Extremely capable. His defense is 92. I bet you right now when I give him some adamantium armor, he will be even higher. Oh wow, actually it looks like the pearl greaves are better. Alright, so we'll leave that. I usually use this improved movement talisman on all of my units because I just like them to move faster. That's the one thing. That's one of my biggest complaints about Endless Legend, is just how slow armies are. It drives me insane. If there was one thing I could change, it would be the pacing of movement in this game. Especially on the overmap. Like, you can change the combat speed, the animation speed, but you can't change the animation speed on the world map. And also it's very difficult to get more movement points. Although it's much more easier now with the complexes and stuff. During the eclipses, a lot of these units will pick up movement bonuses. But here, yeah, he's a pretty badass unit. I love the Stone Sentinel. He looks badass. I've got Photios now, yay! But you've probably already seen him. Here's the Golem Rider. Before he didn't fit on the screen, it was kind of funny. He fits on the screen now. Very, very powerful, very fast units. These are very, very good units. Let's make sure everything's going up like I want it to. Yeah, alright. So, yeah, I there's very little bad things I can say about these guys. These are very capable, and they're very good fighters. The Stone Sentinels are very good too. They're very attack oriented, despite being incredibly defensive. But hitting them is so difficult. Like hitting them for damage is very difficult, and it makes it really fun. So we're gonna build We're going to build a Geomancer. Oh, and we already lost enough Palladian. So we'll build the Geomancer. I'll go ahead and see about getting more Palladian here so we can build a few more units. And there we go. We've got a Golem Rider set up too. So once we get these three, we'll get the Golem Rider going. Oh, we can buy that one too. I had a lot of dust there for a while. Let's go ahead and build something over here. No reason for a dust dredger, so we'll do the alchemy workshop, and we got to pick out a research. I'll just pick something randomly because I'm not really trying to do something right now. I just want to show you the stuff. Now the Kapaku soundtrack is freaking awesome. It's just, yeah, I mean, there's nothing these guys can't do that just doesn't blow my mind. It's just another perfect soundtrack by Fly By No, and I'm just, in awe of how great this soundtrack is. We're going to take a look at this. We're actually going to fight this out just so you can see the maneuverability of these units and how they hit too, because they hit. Yeah, that's a powerful hit. And these guys should be dead after the second hit. So, like I said, these units are very powerful. They're very good militarily, especially during the Eclipse. The Eclipse generally happen every 30-ish turns. I think I've had 4 in this one, so I'm at turn 136. Yeah, I'd say 30 to 40 turns you get one. You do generally get an Eclipse pretty early. Within the first 20 or so turns, just to kind of feel, I guess it's an opportunity to see how the mechanics have changed things, and really to kind of focus on how cool they are and how much they change everything. So, very cool. I got that. I'm just going to wait for these. All right, I think they're both built now, so we'll go ahead and new army. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Add them over here. Oh, crap. Wow. All right. I never got the army expansion thing. But now we have 2 stone sentinels, a geomancer, and a golem rider. That way we can get a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity for us to see how these guys fight. And then I'm going to wrap this thing up. I'd really like to take questions. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you want specific things looked at, specific things answered, I'd love to do that. I've had good 20-25 hours with this expansion. This is my 3rd playthrough with the Kapaku. I really like them. I also tried the Morgar and who are the other ones? Oh yeah, I played the Forgotten as well. And I've just really enjoyed the way this game, it's my favorite 4X game of all time. I've got 299 hours or so with it. And that's remarkable considering how little time I have to spend playing video games, and I choose to play this game more than any other one, even though I've got games like God of War and other games waiting for me. I always come back to this one. And recently Endless Space 2 a lot, and that's another video that I'll have on my channel at the same time this one's up. So if you are interested in the Supremacy expansion, which came out today, the same day that this came out, I will have a video of that too. And I've also had another 20-25 hours of that. Whoa, okay. That was a lot more powerful than I expected. And that's a humongous hit. See what we can do to knock these guys out quickly. Oh, that's right. They also have a what's it called? Well, basically it's like an area of effect attack, but I don't remember. It swings out like that. So, yeah, like I said, these guys are extremely powerful. And I don't know that I have any issue with them being a little bit OP, because a lot of them are OP in their own way. If you know how to play each of the factions, they do become overpowered. It just means that you have to figure out, you have to figure out the puzzle of which paths to take in order to make each faction OP. So That's it for now. This is a really good, just for me, it was a good overview of what the Kapaku are like, what the expansion is all about. Yes, it's a little less universal than maybe some of the other expansions. Like the new editions are a little less universal. But I'm serious when I say that the eclipses really do add a cool new dynamic to the game. Um, I mean that, and that's something that affects all the factions, every game you're in. So when you start feeling the effects and start seeing the effects of how it changes your game in Endless Legend, you're gonna be like, wow, this is great. I think it's an expansion incredibly well worth it. I love this game to begin with, so I might be biased, but this is a great addition, and it's surprising to me considering that they've subcontracted this one out. You know, NJD doesn't really have the familiarity with the engine and the game mechanics as Amplitude does, but you would not know that because they have integrated this so well that you would think this is an Amplitude expansion. And it is such a great send off for this game. I can't imagine that they'll come back. Maybe they will. They surprised the hell out of me when they announced it to the VIP group. Even though I kind of thought I had some suspicions that they were doing something, this was way above and beyond what I expected. So, again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. I'm happy to maybe even make follow-up video if there's something you guys don't really understand or need some information on. But this was Rob the For Explorer, and again, this is an easy recommendation for me if you liked Endless Legend. It's not going to make a new Endless Legend fan out of anybody, but it's certainly going to be something that if you liked Endless Legend even the slightest bit and had some fun with it, that Inferno is an easy purchase. So until the next time, keep exploring, guys. Thanks for watching.